Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Today we have another lesson, Mega Goal 6. But before we start it, let's take a quick recap of the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we had listening on page 73. In this part, we've learned some techniques, we've learned some ideas that could help us improve, enhance our understanding of anything that we listen to. We've agreed that if we are learning a new language, it's important to enhance, to improve, to develop our understanding of what we hear. How to improve our understanding of what we listen to is by following many steps. For example, we suggested that we expose ourselves to the language, we listen as much as we can to any listening material that is available for us. We can listen to the radio, listen to videos on YouTube, on any websites. We can listen to, or if we have educational apps that help us listen to the educational materials, that will be also helpful. Another thing we focused on is the proper steps that we can follow to answer the exercises or the listening exams. We've said that we should start with reading the question, knowing what we are asked to do. After that, go into the details. And after we go to the details, we will be able to know what we are asked to do, what pieces of information we are asked to find. After that, we pick our pens, we listen carefully, we take notes, and after that, we go back and fill the gaps with the proper answers. It's important to put in your mind that it's okay to miss some of the words. Don't panic. It's fine missing some of the words or not understanding some of these words is okay. The most important point is that we get the main idea of the material that we are listening to. In the previous lesson, we listened to a conversation between four friends, Badriya, Paula, Tina, and Amira. Each one of them made a mistake while she was learning English. And they are all talked about their mistakes, what they meant to say or what they intended to say or write, and what they actually said or wrote. We listened to their mistakes, we filled the chart together, and the chart, after we filled it with the correct answers, is as shown here on this slide. Today on the same page, page 73, we have two skills. The first one is pronunciation. What is the meaning of pronunciation? Pronunciation refers to the way we utter the word, the way we say a word. The way we say a word is called pronunciation. Okay, this is the meaning of this part of our lesson today, which is pronunciation. It is the way we say or the way we utter a word. In each pronunciation lesson, we focus on a technique that helps us pronounce and understand what we hear properly. For example, or if someone asks, why do we have pronunciation lessons? We have pronunciation lessons for more than one purpose. The first one is so we can be able to understand what we hear. The second thing is to be able to speak properly. Okay? Today we have a technique which is about the emphasizing on some of the words and how the emphasis on this word or on that word changes the meaning or changes the message that we want to deliver to the receiver. For example, today We have 4 examples, and in each example there are 2 sentences. And in each sentence there is a word written in bold and capitalized. That means this word is emphasized. Now we will go ahead and listen to each one of these words. We will try to understand how the message the speaker is trying to deliver has changed when we emphasized one word or when we emphasized the other. I want you to listen carefully and try to repeat with the speaker so you can say these words or these sentences and make the emphasizing correctly. Now let's go ahead, listen to the task and then, or to the description of the task, and then we will listen to the examples together. Make sure, please, to repeat after the speaker.
Page 73. 6. Pronunciation. Different words in a sentence can be emphasized to convey different meanings. Listen to the sentences. How does the meaning change in each pair?
1. A. You know one of the things that I find most difficult about learning English? B. You know one of the things that I find most difficult about learning English?
2. A. I know what you mean. B. I know what you mean.
3. A. We've all had that kind of thing happen. B. We've all had that kind of thing happen.
4. A. Is that a traditional gift in your country? B. Is that a traditional gift in your country?
Okay, now we've listened to the 4 examples, and in each example there are 2 sentences where we have a capitalized word that is written in bold. In the first one, the speaker emphasized on the word 1, and after that, on B, the speaker emphasized on I. What is the difference? What is how the message is differed between A and B? If you have noticed, in the first one, when the speaker talked about the difficulties in learning English and he said, you know, one of the things that I find most difficult about learning English, he was talking about one of the things. He was focusing on the thing that he is considering, or the thing that he considered as a difficult thing, or the thing that is generally considered difficult. But on sentence B, you know, one of the things I find most difficult about learning English. When he emphasized on I, that makes it a subjective thing. He made it something that he himself find most difficult. Something that is not about the other people, but something that is about himself. For him, this is the thing that he find most difficult. Now let's go to number 4. On A, we have, is that a traditional gift in your country? And on B, we have, is that a traditional gift in your country? What is the difference? On A, we have the word that capitalized, and in B, the word traditional is capitalized. The difference is, on A, we talked about the item itself. We talked about it and we asked, is it a traditional gift or not? After that, on B, when we emphasize the word traditional, now we are questioning the traditionality of that thing. Okay, so in the first one, we are asking, is it a traditional gift or not? But on B, we are questioning, or we are asking about the traditionality of that thing. On B, we all know that it's a gift. But is it traditional or not? Also on 2 and 3, we have the same situation. On 2A, we are focusing on the meaning of what that person say. And on B, we are focusing on that person and the meaning that he wants or the message that he wants to deliver. Now let's go to the second skill or to the second part in our lesson today, which is vocabulary building. We have here 2 parts, a part on the right and a part on the left. On the right side, we have 8 words, and on the left side, we have 8 definitions or explanations, and sometimes we have synonyms for the words on the right. Some of these words might be new for some of you, so we will go ahead and listen to an essay where all these words are extracted from. We will try to listen carefully and try to guess the meaning of each one of these words and try to identify the meaning of the word from within the context. When we listen to a word within a context, that makes it easier for us to guess the meaning. But when we have only the word itself out of the context, that makes it difficult for us to guess the meaning. So now we have 8 words. I want you to take a brief look at these words, try to guess the meaning, and after that, we will go and listen to the essay together. I want you to pay close attention to this word. I want you to try to guess the meaning, underline the words once you hear them, and you can annotate on the footnote or on the sides of the page for the meaning that you expect this word or the meaning of this word. After that, we will go back and try to answer or try to match the words with their explanations. Now let's go to page 74. On the reading part, we have an essay about the invented languages. I want you now to pick up your pens, listen carefully, underline the words, and annotate if necessary.
Pages 74 and 75. 8. Reading.
Invented languages. Every language has its flaws and limitations. Some people have been so frustrated with the imperfections of existing languages that they have actually tried to create better languages themselves. There have been more than 500 attempts at creating such languages. Each of these invented languages, complete with a vocabulary and grammar of its own, has had a specific goal. For example, some language inventors have wanted to invent a simple and easy-to-learn language. Some have wanted to create a gender-neutral language, and some have wanted to make language more mathematical or scientific. While none of these invented languages has ever become widely spoken, there are a couple that have been learned and spoken by a surprisingly large number of people. The invented language that has the most speakers is Esperanto. This language was created in 1887 by Ludwig Zamenhof, a Russian doctor. Zamenhof lived in an area populated by 4 different ethnic groups that spoke many different languages. There were a great number of problems between these groups. Zamenhof felt that the language difference between the groups was the root of the problems. This gave him the idea of creating a language that would not belong to any one country or culture, but instead would belong equally to all people. The hope was that a neutral second language would break down language barriers and build a sense of equality and brotherhood between nations. The language which he created to fulfill this dream was called Esperanto, which means hope in the Esperanto language. Because Zamenhof's goal was clearly a humanitarian one, He was not interested in making any money from Esperanto. He published a guide to speaking Esperanto and gave up all rights of ownership to the guide. This way, the guide could be freely circulated to all people interested in learning the language. Zamenhof wanted as many people as possible to learn Esperanto, so he made the language extremely simple, with no irregularities or exceptions to the basic rules. For example, in Esperanto, all nouns end with an O. All nouns can be made plural by simply adding a J. So the word for friend is amico, and the plural is amicoj. All adjectives end with an A. To create the opposite meaning, a speaker simply adds mal to the beginning of the word. So, for example, the word for big is granda, and the word for small is malgranda. The rules for verbs are equally simple, with no irregular verbs and no conjugation. For all Zamenhof's good intentions, Esperanto never became the unifying international language he had hoped it would become. People were not eager to spend time learning a new language, which so few other people spoke. However, Esperanto has survived to this day and is spoken by at least 100,000 people around the world. The second most successful invented language is called Klingon. Other than the fact that it is also an invented language, it shares almost no similarities with Esperanto. Klingon, which was invented over 25 years ago, was not created with the noble intention of promoting the peaceful coexistence of people from different cultures. Instead, it is a trademarked invention of a major television studio. It was created in 1984 by a linguist named Mark Okrand for use in the Star Trek series. The characters who speak this language are the Klingon, a fictitious race of people from outer space. The Klingon dictionary, which is copyrighted by the television studio, has sold more than 300,000 copies and has made quite a bit of money. Unlike Esperanto, Klingon is an extremely complicated language with complex grammar, making it an immensely difficult language to learn. As a result, it is estimated that only a few thousand people can speak Klingon with any fluency. Yet, interestingly, Okrand intentionally made Klingon difficult to learn. His goal for Klingon was almost the opposite of Zamenhof's. His goal for Klingon was almost the opposite of Zamenhof's goal for Esperanto. Okrand did not want many people to be able to speak Klingon fluently. On the contrary, Klingon was designed to be an exclusive language that could only be spoken by the most committed Star Trek fans. The vast majority of invented languages have disappeared almost as soon as they were created. While the most successful invented languages, like Esperanto and Klingon, have caught the imagination of a community of people, these languages are spoken more as a novelty than as a practical, everyday language. The fact that no invented language has ever become widely spoken seems to tell us something. It is only languages that evolve naturally and slowly over time that have the power to spread, to continue, and to become part of our identity.
Okay, now after we have listened to the essay about the invented languages, we go back to answer the vocabulary building. We all listened to the 8 words. We tried to guess the meaning of these words, and now I think some of you have the correct answers for these words. If you want, you can pause the video right now, do the exercise by your own, then go back to check the answers with us. But I prefer that you wait for a moment so we can explain these words together, then after that you can do the exercise by your own. Number 1, we have the word evolve. The word evolve means the changing, or the when something change, we say it's evolve. When it's develop, for example, you say the animals evolved from this stage to that stage, or it has, or that thing or that project evolved from this unit to that unit. So the evolving is when something develop, when something changes from a situation to another. After that, we have the word exception. The word exception refers to the thing that doesn't belong to the other things. When we say about something that it is exception, that means it's unique. Nothing looks like that thing, or it doesn't belong to the other things because it's exceptional. Number 3, fictitious refers to anything that is imaginary, something not real. Fictitious refers to the imaginary things. Number 4, humanitarian. When we say about something that it is humanitarian, that means it aims to help the people to develop their lives, and it usually wants the good things for the people. Number 5, limitations. On limitations, we mean the boundaries or the lines that something can't go behind. After that, we have the word neutral. The word neutral means you are not belonging to any of the teams or to any of the parties. You are not favoring any one of them over the other. Number 7, the word noble. The word noble means a reputable person or honorable person. And the last thing, trademarked, which means someone who has, let's say, an intellectual property right over something, or if we say this company is, or that product is trademarked to that company, that means it exclusively belongs to them. Now we will do, or we will match the words with their explanations. Number 1, evolve is develop and change. Number 2, exception is H, which is something that is different from what is expected. Number 3, fictitious is G, make believe or not real. Number 4, humanitarian, which is F, devoted to improving the lives of all people. Number 5, limitations is A, lack of ability. Number 6, neutral is not favoring one side or the other, which is C. Number 7, noble is E, honorable. And the last one, 8, trademarked is B. This is the last part of our lesson today. Thank you all for attending, and I wish you enjoy the rest of the day. Assalamu alaikum.